Hey everybody, this is George from DinosaurGeorge.com. I apologize for taking so long to answer so many of your questions. My schedule has been nuts and this is the first opportunity I've had. All right, Connor from Brisbane, Australia writes and says, were Spinosaurus or Giganotosaurus related to Allosaurus? Allosaurus and these two dinosaurs have 3 claws, while Tyrannosaurus has 2. Connor, that's a good observation. That's a good question. Here's the thing. Sometimes when we're looking at dinosaurs, we have a tendency to kind of be narrow in our focus of what family they belong to based on 1 or 2 similarities. The way to look at this is you wouldn't just look at the hands to determine what family they belong to. When you look at Spinosaurus and you look at Giganotosaurus, those 2 dinosaurs are absolutely distinctively different in almost all other aspects except for the hand design. Their skulls are different. Their tooth design is completely and absolutely different. So really, Connor, you wouldn't put them into the same family. Now, in a broader sense, they belong to the family of theropods, but it's sort of like this, Connor. If you looked at an elephant and you looked at a hyena, those 2 animals walk on 4 legs, but you wouldn't classify them as the same family. You see what I mean? So it's sort of the same thing with dinosaurs. There's enough differences between Allosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and Spinosaurus to put them into different family groups. Now, Allosaurus and Giganotosaurus, in my opinion, have more similarities than Allosaurus does with Spinosaurus, so perhaps Allosaurus and Giganotosaurus fit into a little bit closer family group. But I believe that all 3 of these dinosaurs are distinctly different enough to justify them being in different families, even though they're in the global family of theropods. So it's kind of a broader sense. All right. Abiel or Abel, maybe the way you spell it, from Edmond, Oklahoma. I've been through Edmond a couple of times, Abiel, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How does a male Spinosaurus get a mate during the mating season? Well, Abiel, it's pretty simple. It usually starts off with a bottle of wine, some soft music, maybe a little Peebo Bryson music, candlelight dinner. Okay, maybe that's not how it works. Here's how it works. It works the way other animals work, and that is that the female is going to be selective which male she wants. In other words, the female wants to make sure that the father of her offspring are very healthy, can withstand the rigors of life, and therefore she's going to make sure that the male she chooses appears to be very healthy and strong and agile. So, I suspect that the male Spinosaurus would have to do some things to entice her. Maybe he has to perform some kind of dance. Dancing in the animal kingdom is not rare. Maybe he has to dance around a little bit to say, hey, look how agile I am. Maybe he has to go catch something and bring her dinner. That's pretty much the way it works with humans. I mean, we have to go out and catch things like Ferraris and mink coats. And okay, I'm getting off the subject again, but you catch my drift. The male would have to do something to entice the female and outcompete other males who are also competing for her. So maybe there's some fighting involved, maybe there's some biting involved, but more than likely there's something that male has to do to tell the female, look, I'm worthy. Please choose me. He also writes and says, could you make a Jurassic Fight Club where a pack of Dilophosaurus could fight a pack of Ceratosaurus? Thank you. I'm your biggest fan. Well, Abiel, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. If I ever make a 2nd season of Jurassic Fight Club, I will certainly consider that. That would be an interesting fight, but it would have to be a lot of Dilophosauruses because Ceratosaurus would probably be a little more capable of taking down something like Dilophosaurus. All right, Elliott from Canturbery, England. Hi, DG. I have 2 questions. Hey, Elliott. Good to hear from you. First, I heard that Carnotaurus was wiped out before the mass extinction of the dinosaurs. If so, what wiped them out? Very interesting question, and I'm glad you bring this up. One of the misconceptions we have about dinosaurs, Elliott, is that we think of them as all dying out on the same day at the same time, but that's not necessarily the case. Dinosaur species came and went throughout the history of paleontology, throughout the history of the Mesozoic area. Man, okay, let's go back and rewind that. Dinosaurs died out, numerous species died out during the Mesozoic period because not all dinosaurs were able to survive. Small environmental changes could affect dinosaurs. A new kind of plant could have affected some and not affected the others. In some case, competition may have affected them. So for Carnotaurus, well, what if Carnotaurus was outcompeted by a bigger, stronger predator? That could very well be the case. So if in fact Carnotaurus died out prior to the end of the Cretaceous, it may have been something as simple as an environmental change that he was unable to deal with and others were unaffected by it. Okay, second question. Secondly, do you think there will be a Jurassic Park 4? P.S. My favorite dinosaur is Carnotaurus. Thanks. Elliott, glad to hear that. I think Carnotaurus is a wickedly cool dinosaur, and I think you have a good choice. Jurassic Park 4, you know, I was so excited because I had heard rumors that one was coming. But then some good people from the Jurassic Park Institute website, I spoke to the guy who created that site. Really nice guy. And it turns out that it sounds like the information I had was information from a long time ago, which it was, and it sounds like maybe it's not as much a reality now. It sounds like Jurassic Park 4, if it is coming, may be a little ways away, but I cannot believe that they're not going to make a Jurassic Park 4. Those series were too successful from an economic standpoint. They've got to have a Jurassic Park 4, and if they don't, by gosh, I'll start raising the money and I'll make Jurassic Park 4. All right, but in mine, you can bet Allosaurus is going to be awesome. Okay, Emma from Takoma Park, Maryland. What do you do if you find a dinosaur bone in your yard? Emma, that's a great question. The first thing you do is you scream like an insane person. You flail your arms up and down. You scream, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Then you run around a couple of times. You scream. You go knock on the doors of your neighbors. You scream at the top of your lungs. I think I found a dinosaur. Now, those people will all think you're insane, but anybody who digs up dinosaurs can tell you that's the exact reaction required when you find a dinosaur. All right, all joking aside, Emma, here's what you would do if you dug up something in your backyard and you thought it was a dinosaur. The most appropriate thing to do is not excavate all of it. Take the bone that you found and try to contact a museum in your area or a paleontologist. In Maryland, probably one of my favorite paleontologists is Dr. Tom Holtz. He teaches at the university there in Maryland. He would be the guy, absolutely the guy I would contact. And if he identifies it as a dinosaur, then he would know the proper steps to get it out. Unfortunately, sometimes we find these things and in our zest to dig them up, we destroy more than we excavate. And also, it's very important for paleontology that they be able to look at the lay of the bones. It helps them figure out possibly how it died, and it gives them clues about the environment. So if you ever find a fossil, the other thing to do is take a photograph of it, email it to me at contact@dinosaurgeorge.com, and I will be happy to try to identify it for you. Finally, Joshua from Oxford, North Carolina. Hey, Dinosaur George, I have one question. Which dinosaur do you think would compare very closely to Megalania? I wouldn't be surprised if your answer was Tyrannosaurus Rex because it has a very similar attitude. Sincerely, Josh. Joshua, one of my good buddies from Facebook. Joshua, great to hear from you, my friend. I got to tell you this, Josh. It would be hard to find a dinosaur that compares to Megalania except for Tyrannosaurus Rex because Megalania was such a monstrosity. He was so big. He was so powerful that most dinosaurs weren't as big and bold and powerful as Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, certainly there's dinosaurs like Giganotosaurus and Maposaurus and Carcharodontosaurus and I don't know Asaurus and I wonder what time it is Asaurus and what day of the week is it Asaurus and this is running long Asaurus, so I have to shut up Asaurus. I'm kidding you. Joshua, I agree with you. I believe it would be Tyrannosaurus Rex. Megalania rules. All right, everybody, if you've got a question you want to ask me, go to dinosaurgeorge.com, send me your question, and I will do my best to answer it. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and for you young people out there, you make sure to practice your reading and always use good manners. I will see you all again soon. Later.